Newcap News caught up with a local accountant to get his take on the situation. At Gervais Little Accountants, they've seen a slight delay with a couple of clients as they can't access their online information. But Robert Little says he isn't concerned as it's not the first time he's seen the system go down.
I think people like us in the business, we see this, quite commonly. So it's not a big, oh my God, what's wrong with this? It's more like, oh, this is a little more serious, and I think they're going to have to dig a little harder to sort it out.
Little says despite the inconvenience, there's still plenty of time to file your taxes before the deadline.
The government.
Emergency crews have been busy all day dealing with a fire that broke out in the RM of Wilton landfill earlier this morning. Now, a local resident called in the fire at around 6 a.m. The Lashburn Rural Fire Department was first on scene and then called the Britannia Wilton Department for assistance. Now, some private contractors also arrived on scene with machinery to help contain the fire. In total, about 30 people helped battle the blaze.
To isolate it, contain it, and they've dug a trench to break it off from spreading to any further areas within the landfill. No neighboring properties, buildings, anything like that are threatened at this time.
Now, crews were on scene for the better part of the day, pushing clay on top of everything to make sure hot spots and embers were completely out. Now, there's no official cause of the fire just yet.
The early speculation is just spontaneous combustion. When you're working with a landfill, of course, things can burn very deep in ground for long periods of time, and as a thaw and things like that start to happen, there are a lot of different conditions that can lead to it.
Now, fire crews say no one was hurt in the incident. Cold Lake RCMP went before City Council last night to deliver their yearly review. Now, the detachment found that even though Cold Lake had a booming population over the past couple of years, they haven't seen too much change inside the city. Fraser Snowden brings us the story.
As well, we have 3 auxiliary members who volunteer their time.
Police looked at a number of offenses, including traffic violations, provincial statutes, drug enforcement, and other crimes. The RCMP also covers the MD, the Elizabeth Métis Settlement, and Cold Lake First Nations, which keeps them busy.
There's never a dull moment, that's for sure. And we had in excess of 9,500 calls for service or investigations, and with 22 members on the street, that adds up to over 400 investigations per member.
With the recent crimes that have happened in Cold Lake, Council is pleased with the service the RCMP has provided over the past couple of years.
The detachment had some success with the with charging the culprits on the ATM break-ins that were happening in the area, and previous to that, they did great work on the trestle, $1 million damage out there. So, I think crimes, kind of been reduced lately because of the effectiveness of the overall detachment.
Looking ahead into the new year, Buchanan says they are working on ways to tackle a common issue on Cold Lake roads: distracted driving.
The way that we deal with that is certainly on a case-by-case basis, whether it's between responding to complaints or if we do take an initiative and focus on that. So going forward for 2014, certainly there are projects that are in mind to deal with that specific issue.
In Cold Lake, Fraser Snowden, Newcap News.